Well, welcome back everybody to Pooley Mag TV, the raw, unedited, unscripted NUFC fan channel, where everybody's got an opinion and nobody's opinion's wrong. So today it's going to be a bit of a longer video. I've spent the last week, doing some shorts and some funny shorts and, well, what I think are funny anyway, and just trying to grow the channel. These long videos, they're very informative and I do like doing them. But I don't think people's attention spans going to listen to somebody talking about Newcastle for 10 minutes who they don't know. So I'm trying to grow the channel by doing these shorts, and trying to catch a bit of attention, really, that I get a few more subscribers so I can actually, continue to do these longer videos, because I do prefer to do the longer videos, but I do have a personality, and they seem to come out a little bit more in the shorts than they do on these long videos. So that's just a little bit of a roundup there of what's been going on. Newcastle, big win against Brentford on Wednesday night. Really tough game, as I predicted it would be. Brentford are a really good team. We looked a little bit sluggish at times, but we got the win, and that's all that matters. Tonali with an absolutely fantastic goal, to set us on our way for another win there. And now we've got 9 games left till the end of the season, and massive 9 games. I think we could maybe win about 5 or 6 of them and hopefully push for the Champions League. That would be amazing, wouldn't it, to get back into the Champions League, see who we get at St James's Park, see where we go. Could be Madrid this time, could be Barcelona, with a few new signings. You just never know what could happen. But we've got to knuckle down now, we've got to knuckle in, and take each match serious. I'm not saying we didn't take Brentford serious, because we clearly did. But it was always going to be a tough game, after all the emotion from the Carabao Cup final and the parade and the Town Moor event. It was always going to be an emotion. It was always going to be a tough game, because just emotional burnout, but it's over and done with now. We've got the monkey off our back now, and we can keep moving forward. We've got Leicester City away. Leicester are dreadful. Leicester are one of the worst teams I've seen in the Premier League ever, I would say. How they're not bottom just shows you how bad Southampton are, doesn't it? Because Leicester are a poor team. Leicester are really bad. Ruud van Nistelrooy, great player, and I think with better players would be a good manager, but I just think Leicester are down. I think Leicester are down, I think Ipswich are down, and obviously Southampton are down. So I think the 3 that come up will go down, which is a shame, really. I don't like to see that happen, because then that just proves the gulf, that the Premier League from the Championship. It must be really hard now coming up from the Championship into the Premier League. It must be really, really daunting, because the odds of staying up now are astronomical, aren't they? This PSR rubbish is killing the game. It's not allowing these smaller teams to spend big. They're coming up with Championship squads, with Championship players. They're getting freebies and buying the odd £5-10 million player here and there. It's not fair. I don't think. But we've got to go to Leicester on Monday, and we've got to stick it to them. There's no sentiment in football. We can't feel sorry for Leicester. We've just got to stick it to them. We've got to really put in another good performance and keep the season alive. Trippier has been great the last few games. I don't know if he deserves a contract extension. I think he does. I just think he adds a lot to the team with his experience, his positional play. When his head's on, he's still one of the best right backs in the country for me. I think he's been proven that the last few weeks. He seems to be fully focused now. His head seems to be in a good place. He's getting a strong run of games with Lewis Hall being out and Tino on the left. So Kieran Trippier now is our number one right back at the minute. Yes, I think Tino goes back there, and whether Trips would want to be an understudy, would he want to play second fiddle to Tino next season? I'm not too sure, but for me, I would give him an extra year. Fabian Schär, I'm glad to see, has got a 1 year contract extension. I don't think he should be starting every game next season, but you need that experience, that you can't just have a squad of players that don't know each other, or, a squad of players that are really young. We need that experience. We need to try and keep the core group together as long as possible and just bring in new players here and there. But we've got to go to Leicester on Monday and make it another win. Keep charging up the table. Keep doing what we're doing. And hopefully bring Champions League football back to the club. And hopefully that can push us on to start bringing in some better players. We need another, couple of centre-backs for me. We need a goalkeeper. We need a right winger. We need a backup for Isaac. Because Callum Wilson, I think he's done now. I think his Newcastle career is over. Yes, he'll get a few more minutes this season, but I think his Newcastle career is over, to be fair. He looks a shadow of his former self. And I think when he's coming on the pitch, he's not trying as hard as he could, because I don't think he wants to be injured again, because I think he knows he's going in the summer too. He just does not seem to have that desire when he comes on the pitch. The ball hits off him, he doesn't run for it. He looks void of confidence, really, which isn't a surprise, to be fair. But yeah, I think his career is over with at Newcastle. So yeah, I think we've got a really strong chance of getting the Champions League. I'd love to see the Champions League be regular at St James's Park, or whatever the new stadium is going to be called. Apparently they're thinking about upping it from 65,000 now. I think we could do 75 easy. If I'm honest, I really do. I think we could do 75,000 easy each week. And what a great spectacle that would be, wouldn't it? What a great spectacle that would be, to get us up there as an elite team. Try it with an elite stadium. I don't care what you say. Facilities attract players too. And they really do attract players. If I was a world-class player and I was going to, say, a stadium and a training ground that looked like it was League One standard, I'd be thinking, well, what outfit am I signing for here? Where you go to, say, Tottenham's training ground and, Tottenham Stadium, or, our new one, you'd think, well, this is an outfit that's going to splash a bit of cash. Now, that doesn't guarantee you success, but, it can attract players. So I think we've got a really good chance of Champions League. What does everybody else think? Where do you think we'll finish? How many games do you think we'll win from now until the end of the season? I think we'll win another 6 out of our last 9 games. I really do. I think we'll win another 6, and I think we'll finish 5th. I really do think we'll finish 5th. So hit like, hit subscribe, share the channel. I would like to see this channel grow. I'd like to start getting a few people on it too. A few Newcastle fans. I've got a lot of friends who are Newcastle fans. My dad's a massive Newcastle fan. I'd like to get him on the channel. And just try and do something a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing up-to-date Newcastle news every day, because everybody seems to do that. So you will be getting a few funny shorts now and then. You'll be getting a long video like this now and then. I've got my top 5, which I'll be doing tomorrow. My top 5 series I want to start doing. Some player profiles, some cult heroes, a little bit more different content than just what the new home shirt's going to look like or things like that. There's nothing against that, but I just think every content creator from Newcastle United or football seem to be doing that. They don't really seem to be sharing their personal journey or having a laugh or, having a bit of a crack on. I know Evermore do. That's a great Newcastle fan channel, and I know the Toon Review do and all. But most of them seem to just be quite bog standard, the production's great, but they seem to just be talking about match previews, match reviews, transfer news, up-to-date news, and, I will be doing videos like that. That's what this one is, but I'll be trying to condense it all into one video so I can do my top 5 series, seasons that could have been better, in-depth reviews on seasons and things like that, things that I think could interest people and, grow the channel a little bit. There's no point in coming into a already oversaturated field and just trying to do stuff that they're doing when I clearly don't have the production value that they've got. I'm not a technology expert. I don't have thumbnails. I don't have, a GoPro. I'm just a football fan, a passionate football fan who half knows what he's on about, and can hold a conversation, and hopefully the channel does grow. The only way it's going to grow is by you guys, the 12 subscribers that I've got at the minute, sharing, liking, the videos, getting it into the algorithm, and hopefully, Poolie Mag TV grows. But I'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed, and I'd like to thank everybody who has watched and liked the shorts and the other videos, and comments. I do appreciate them, because I was thinking maybe I'd probably get one view, a week. And that's not been the case. I'm not obviously doing mega numbers or anything like that, but I've been pleasantly surprised. So I must be doing okay, which is a nice confidence booster. But anyway, like I say, hit subscribe. Comment down below, where do you think we'll finish? How many wins will we get from now until the end of the season? And keep it black and white, and keep it Poolie Mag TV. Over and out, and have a fantastic Saturday night, guys. Take it easy. Take care. Good night. God bless.